Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is April 26, 2023, and we're getting into the volume 74 of me answering your immigration related questions. As you can see, I have all your comments pulled up. Also have one email that I need to address today. Before I begin, I'm going to mention I'm not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information that I provide in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. Alright, let's start with the very first comment from Muhammad Javaid. My sister F4 category, her priority date February 2012, and she is from Pakistan. She got the case creation letter from NVC, that's good news, but the fee tab is not enabled. Sir, is there any idea how long does it take to get the case come current? Thanks. Muhammad, you're very welcome. Thank you for your question. So let's take a look at the visa bulletin and see if we can do some rough estimates. So this is a visa bulletin for May 2023. Whenever it comes to the family reunification cases, if you are, in a certain category, in your case, your sister is in forced priority category, so we definitely need to be working with the visa bulletin. So for us, because you are, because she is, well, not you, but she is not documentarily qualified yet, we're going to be looking at the graph B. So she is from Pakistan, F4, so is going to be all chargeability area. So looks like right now it's showing February 2008. And you have your case February 2012. Okay, so exactly pretty much almost exactly 4 years, depending on the day. But 4 years, so looks like you will be roughly waiting about 4 more years before the portal, the NVC portal, will be fully opened up. All right, where you can submit all the fees, submit the affidavit of support, all the financial documents, and basically become documentarily qualified. Roughly 4 years. Keep in mind though, these dates are just now updating. I will be making an updated video for each visa bulletin each new month it comes up. So right now it's February 2008, but we have seen some really good updates in May visa bulletin. Some of the categories, they moved forward as much as 6 months. So we might see some more good updates like that in the next few months. So make sure to stay on top of it. Check the visa bulletin regularly. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe to get the updates on that. So let me put this. We're gonna move on to the next one from Said Key. So kind of you, keep up the great work. Thank you very much for kind words. I really appreciate it. All right, moving forward to KillsJ Tech. And KillsJ, thank you for another comment, another question, and also I appreciate you being publicly subscribed. Thank you, sir, for that wonderful answer. Anytime. I have another question, sir. I have been submitted all my documents and AOS, adjustment of status, since October 2020, and I think some documents are expired, like Cinemar and police certificate, and some AOS was outdated. My question is, what are the AOS that I re-upload so that I did not get a 221G? And 221G is 221G basically is a very boilerplate reason to deny a visa, and it's literally it doesn't tell us anything. It just says that the consul who was taking the interview, they decided not to give you the visa. That's literally what it says. So it's really boilerplate. It's very generic. So unfortunately, it really doesn't tell us a lot. Or what am I supposed to do so that I cannot get a 221G from the consulate? So KillsJ, unfortunately, whenever it comes to 221G, it really is like a dead end situation. Whenever it comes to issuing visas, it's fully at the discretion of the consular. So if for whatever reason they're in a bad mood, they didn't have their coffee in the morning, and somebody cut them off on the road on the way to the consular, they can give you the 221G, the refusal. They will refuse your visa for no reason, and it happens. So I'm sorry if you're dealing with this. If it seems to be an unfair, if you know for a fact that this is unfair and if it's a consistent thing that is happening, I don't know based on which situation you are applying for the adjustment of status, but if you do have that, right, and if you are getting the refusals in whatever other visa that you are applying for, I would recommend, if you have, a family petition, if, whatever it is, again, it depends on what your adjustment of status application is based on. I would recommend reaching out, if you have someone here, reach out on behalf of you to the local elected officials and then ask them to, on behalf of you, again, send a letter to the local consular and ask them to, hey, can you please, approve this visa and not refuse it next time. As for the documents, I really would not worry about that much. I know whenever it comes to the police certificate, they are, pretty picky, and they might ask you for the updated, but if they don't ask you, there is really nothing to worry about. When they do need an updated information, they will ask you for updated information, updated documents. It might be the police certificate. So if you have, if it's easy in your country to get that police certificate, for example, where I'm from, you just go to your local police department, you say, hey, I need a statement, showing that I don't have any criminal record, blah, blah, blah. And then right there, they can just issue it, stamp it, sign it, and give it to you. All right. If it's the same way, then there's nothing to worry about. If it takes a few months and it's been, outdated for a year or whatever, then yeah, you probably want to do that just so that you have updated information. So let me post this and we're going to move on to the next one from MD Ali. Hello, how can I get my immigration security bond after 23 years? Wow, can I get that? Please help me, sir. Okay, so MDLE. So whenever it comes to immigration security bonds, right? The reason why you give them and the reason why they're issued back is that you give them basically a promise that you will come back to the court, right? An immigration court, you're gonna go and participate in the proceedings. And after you satisfy their requirements to get that bond back, usually within 4 weeks you get that. So if it's been 23 years, it's a little bit problematic. I'm not sure what happened, why you didn't get it back, and why it has been this long for you not to get it back. So maybe if you can come back to this channel, if you can give me a little bit more detailed, no personal details. And for everyone who's watching, please don't share your personal, your address, your whatever personal details. But still, I do need a little bit more, general information. What happened? Why is that you did not get that bond back? Why it has not been addressed, 23 years ago? Why it is just now that you're dealing with this? And I might be able to, give you a little bit more answers. But, if everything was satisfied and you still didn't get it back, then you would have to reach out to the agency that you gave that bond to, whether it's, Immigration Customs Enforce, the ICE, whatever, or, Immigration Court, whoever it is, you would have to deal with them. So let me put this and we're going to move on to the next question from Anirudh Gadiraju. I'm probably mispronouncing the name, very sorry, and thank you for being publicly subscribed. Hi sir, I would like to point out something that I have observed during the COVID pandemic. Student visas were being arranged for students despite all the restrictions brought on during the pandemic. There seems to be a powerful university college lobby that has filed lawsuit which put pressure on USCIS, resulting in them addressing these cases rather quickly. 100% correct you are. The same can be said for employment visa petition. I was just thinking, I was reading your student visa and I was thinking about the employment and how employment visas were processed. However, when it comes to family-based immigration petitions, there appears to be no body of attorneys or body of petitioners who can challenge USCIS on these ridiculous wait times which keep families separated for years on end. This, according to me, is a humanitarian crisis and needs to be addressed. 100%. This channel that you're running is the only immigration-related channel that speaks about family immigration and really appreciates the work you're doing. Hopefully something major happens soon on these issues. Regards. Anirudh, you're 100% correct. Thank you. I appreciate your kind words regarding this channel. It's true, it's really sad, but it's true, and it just shows how, how messed up, how corrupt the system is. because whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, it really is all about money. At the end of the day, it is really all about money. It's all about profit, and you are 100% correct. Student visas, they tried to pause them, they couldn't, and that's exactly why they couldn't, because it's a huge revenue, huge amount of money we are talking about whenever it comes to international students coming into this university. Because think about it, international students, they pay double, triple, if not quadruple sometimes, of the tuition fees that the same local, if you're, for example, if you're in Florida, let's say you're a resident of Florida, you go, these same credits, they cost like $100. If you're an international student, these same credits, they cost like $300, $400, if not more. I'm giving you information from like years ago. All right. So of course, these universities, because it's all private, it's all for profit. Of course, they're gonna get on it and be like, no, you're not gonna restrict our source of income. And the same thing for employment. Same thing. You are petitioning for. Why are these companies so adamant on petitioning for these for these international employees? Because they know that they can save money. Do you think that they petition for international employees to come down here for the purposes of, let's exchange information, or let me do something good for the world and bring somebody from outside to come here, get some experience, get some knowledge, get some whatever, see how things are in America, and then we'll send them back so that they can develop the undeveloped parts of the world, which in fact are more developed than some of the things here, if you think about it. If we dig, if we talk really, really in detail about this, we will see that around the world, some of the things are way more developed than they're here. But at the same time, here, you take a currency, and on the currency it says, "In God we trust," right? The most materialistic, the most basically the root of all evil. If you come down to that, and on it says, "In God we trust." What a hypocrisy, right? But at the end of the day, that's how it is. And that's exactly why you see that whenever it comes to money, things are addressed pretty quickly, because there are people on top of that want that money, that will not sit still if that money restricted. Unlike family-based immigration, there's no money in family-based immigration. Really for anyone. Family-based immigration is really for the families, okay? You submit the petition to reunify with the family because you want to reunify with the family, not because you want to make money, not because you want to make profit, because somebody will profit. Nah, it's literally just for the family to be together. But there you go. It shows you how these families are treated, how much the dollar is valued, and how much family is not valued. And then anybody can come and tell me how developed United States is and undeveloped some of these countries are, where some people, all they have is family. All right, let's move on to the next one from Tigran Granin. Hello, one question. If I came by tourist visa and asked for political refugee, can I apply? Yes, except it's not going to be refugee, it's going to be asylee. All right, because refugee and asylee is the same thing. You're seeking for political, basically protection, all right, from the persecution in your home country. It's just a refugee. You apply for that status from outside of the United States. When you're inside of the United States, then it is asylum. All right, so it's going to be I-589 on USCIS.gov website. Alrighty, let's move on to the next one. And in fact, Tigran, you know what? I'm going to show you. Here's the USCIS.gov website. This is the official U.S. Immigration and Citizenship Services website. This is their homepage. You can find this link in the description below. If you click on forms here at the very top of the navigation menu here, click on all forms. You can scroll down and find it, or you can just type it in 589. Boom. And it's gonna come up, application for asylum and withholding of removal, and you can apply for it online. The only requirement is that you have to be here in the United States when you are applying. That's the main requirement. All right, let's move on to the next one from Monica Pierre. What can I do? I have been waiting from 2015 for my case was approved. I have already paid all the fees. Okay, that's good. In 2020, they said they were ready for me, so I'm assuming documentarily qualified, and I have not heard anything. I am in the F1 category. Okay, so F1 category. Let's take a look at the visa bulletin. Okay, so F1 category is showing January 2017. So it definitely transferred to NVC. It definitely already should have been documentarily qualified. I'm thinking you are already documentarily qualified. If we take a look at the graph A, which is the final action date, is when basically the final action date was taken. Basically the case is documentarily qualified. It's supposed to show, it's very outdated. It's showing December 2014. You are in 2015, so it literally, your interview should be anytime around the corner. But to give you even better estimates, because like I said, this has not been updated, it's very hard to judge by it. What has been recently updated is the F2A, and F2A, for those who are documentarily qualified, people are waiting for the interview about 2.5 years, which if we look at you're in 2020, 2.5 years from 2020 is really sometime now, depending on when in 2020 you are documentarily qualified. I would say by the end of 2023, you should definitely be getting your interview. Your visas probably is already current, and you're really just waiting for that interview to be scheduled. So Monica, I know it's not the most pleasant to hear about patience, but I understand it completely, because I myself am trying to be patient because I have a petition waiting, and I have a long way to wait so far. All right, moving further to Latifa Malik. Thank you for answer. Latifa, anytime, you're very welcome. Thank you for asking. Moving further to Oracle. I made enough to meet the poverty guideline this year, but the previous 2 years I did not make enough. Can I still use my most recent income? Yes. Since NVC want me to show income for the last 3 years. Thanks for the help. Oracle, you're very welcome. Thank you for your question. It's a great question. So yes, basically that's what NVC, the CAC, the whole, documentary qualification process is. Exactly, that's what they're trying to establish. As long as your most recent tax return, tax transcript is showing enough of the income to sponsor the beneficiary, you should be good. Yes, you definitely need to submit that most recent one because it is showing enough, and yeah, you're good to go. All right, moving further to the next one. Another question from Mubashar Hassan. Thanks for the reply, sir. You're very welcome, Mubashar. Thank you for following up with a comment. Yes, my visa class is IR1. I have permanent resident card. Also, when I entered the USA, CBP stamped my passport for admitted stamp for 1 year, and my visa on bottom also write the I-551 1 year endorsement entry like that. But my question is, one time must go out for the United States and come back again. Is it necessary? It's a rule of law. No, Mubashar. So that's it. The only thing that is necessary for that I-551 to become a temporary permanent resident card, because right now it is no longer an immigrant visa. Right now, because it was already stamped by the CBP, it is already a temporary permanent resident card. So you don't need to leave the country and come back. You can, if you want to, using that same, I-551, which is now a temporary permanent resident card. But I think since you are IR1 initially, you should have gotten, or you will be getting soon, a letter from USCIS saying that, hey, unless it was already paid, right? So if this fee was already paid beforehand through the CAC, the NVC portal, then you will just be getting your physical permanent resident card, the green card, in the mail. If it wasn't paid, then you will get the mail from USCIS saying, hey, your permanent resident card is ready. You need to pay this fee. And once you pay it, within like 30 days, you will receive it. But if it was already paid in advance, then once you enter the United States with that I-551 stamp, within 90 days, you should be receiving your actual green card. But the I-551 that you have right now in your passport, that is a temporary permanent resident card. It gives you all the same things that the regular green card gives you. You can travel back and forth. You can go and apply for, Social Security. You can go and apply for, driver's license, whatever, depending on the state, whatever they need. So yeah, congratulations. That's good stuff. Let's move on to the next one from Violet Shahatit. NVC Bulletin F3 category has moved in May after a long time of waiting. My question is, how long do we have to be scheduled for an appointment with our embassy is Amman, Jordan. My case priority date is November 24, 2008. Please reply. Violet, yes, of course. So let's take a look. F3 2008 priority date. Let's see. So we know the priority date. So we're going to scroll down to the graph B. F3 is showing February 2010. And yes, this is all chargeability. February 2010. And Violet, she's saying that it was 2008. So the case should have definitely already been transferred to the NVC to become documentarily qualified. So Violet, I'm going to ask you for a follow-up comment if you can. I'm assuming your case is either already at NVC and ready to be documentarily qualified, or it was already documentarily qualified. If it was already documentarily qualified, let me know when it was documentarily qualified, because let's take a look at the F3. Looks like it's about 2 years, but again, this is not very updated. It's much easier to say using the F2A category, and since the documentarily qualification, people are waiting about 2.5 years for their interviews. As of right now, I think things will speed up a little bit as we normalize the times, as the new visa bulletins comes out and the information gets updated. So about 2.5 years. So for example, if you were documentarily qualified in 2020, it means that your interview should be sometime this year by the end of 2023. But again, if you can come back, if you want to, and let me know the date your case was documentarily qualified, and I might be able to give you a little bit more information. All right, let's move on to the next one from Blossom Robinson. My children are over 21. There's another one. My visa center is Vermont. What are they processing now? And let's scroll down. There you go. My category is citizen filing for unmarried son and daughter. My priority date June 2017, and it's in Vermont. Okay, so Blossom Robinson, thank you very much for your question. Let's take a look at USCIS first, because I want to check the processing times at USCIS, because I'm thinking your case might still be with USCIS. So let's take a look. We're going to go to Tools, and for everyone who's interested in finding processing times with USCIS, that's how you do it. Click on Tools at the top of the navigation menu, scroll down, case status online, and of course on this page you can put your receipt number, and that will give you what's happening with your case, basically the status. But we will click on the processing times, visit page. So we got I-130. Now the category, we know that this is children are over 21, okay? Citizen filing for unmarried son and daughter over 21. So that's gonna be F1 category. So there's gonna citizen filing for unmarried son and daughter 21 or older. There we go. And we know that it is in Vermont. So let's take a look. Got all the information needed. 64 months. So let's see. Has been in 2017. I'm gonna grab my calculator because my math is just horrible. 64 divided by 12. 5.3 years. So let's see. So 5.3 years. So June 2017, it has been priority date. And it's, let's see, 5 plus 2017, that is 2022. Okay, let's take a look at the visa bulletin now for F1. January 2017, June 2017. Okay, Blossom Robinson. So let me ask you this. Has the case been already approved by USCIS? Because it's right around that time where it's supposed to be reviewed. Once it is approved, it is transferred to the NVC for the further processing, where you get your portal, you get your access to the portal, you become documentarily qualified, so far so forth. So the next stage of the process. But by now, I think you should have been either already approved or very, very close to your case being reviewed. So a few things I'm gonna ask, if you can. First of all, use this page, case status online, check put your receipt number in here and see if the case is still being reviewed by USCIS. If it is still being reviewed, then I think it might be a good time to submit a case inquiry. Same thing you can do the case inquiry is through this processing time page. If you scroll down, you will see inquire about a case outside normal processing time. So if it's still pending with USCIS, then I would use that to inquire about the situation with the case, because it's right around this time. But if it has been already approved, then your case should already be on the way to the NVC, and you should be getting the welcome letter from the NVC really anytime now. It should be really soon. So please let me know with this update, and I might be able to give you a little bit more information. I'm gonna reply to this one, and I'll just put the hearts on these. The reason why I put these hearts and likes is because it refreshes my wall, so these comments, they don't show up again in the next video. All right, moving further to Sandeep. PS, thank you so much, sir. You're very welcome, Sandeep. I hope my answer was helpful to you. Moving further to Denis Tufour. Sir, actually, you know what? I'll do this before I forget. Sir, thank you for your updates. You're very welcome, Denis. And explanations when will my priority date of March 2017 of F1 will be updated? Estimated time and the graph I can use to check is it A or B. Okay, Dennis, so graph B, and this is basically how it's supposed to be. We are not exactly doing it the same way right now, and I'll explain why, but this is how it's supposed to be. If your case is still with USCIS, right, you're looking at the graph B, because it shows the priority dates, it shows the filing dates when the I-130 was filed to USCIS. If your case is already documentarily qualified, then you're looking at the graph A. Right now, we are not looking for most categories at graph A, instead looking at the graph B, because graph A has not been updated. Some of them has been updated as of May and April, like F2A category. So we make these rough estimates based on the categories that have been updated. But that's how you look at it. So for example, F1, right? We know your priority date is March 2017. We look at the visa bulletin, we scroll down to B, F1, it's showing right now January 2017, and you are March 2017. So your case should already be reviewed. Your case should be reviewed by USCIS, approved, hopefully, and transferred to the NVC right now. If it's not, then I would recommend reaching out to the USCIS, do the same thing, the processing times, check it on USCIS, and see if your case is within the normal processing times. If it's not, then submit the case inquiry, because it's still with USCIS. Once it is transferred to the NVC, you'll have your portal open in the NVC. You'll do all of the, pay the fees, submit the affidavit of support, submit the financial documents. Once it is all reviewed by the NVC, once it is approved, you're now documentarily qualified. When you're documentarily qualified, you would look at the graph A. But right now it's hard, it's gonna confuse. If you do that, it's gonna confuse. So that's why we are judging by the most recent updated F2A, which is giving us about 2.5 years for the people who have been documentarily qualified, and that's how long they're waiting for an interview. 2.5 years. Hopefully the times will normalize, and we will be able to, just judge and make these predictions like normally, like we used to. But we will see. We'll see. Hopefully in the next few months, we'll find out. All right, let's move on to the very last comment for today from Simone Williams. Simone Williams, thank you very much for another comment. You can see Simone Williams, she got the heart next to her. It's because a lot of comments from her, and obviously a lot of hearts like this. So, okay, listen to your answer just to let you know what the summary information is. That a notice you see when you log into CAC, it reads CAC, NVC, it's the same thing, by the way. Due to the numerical limitations on immigrants' visa issuance prescribed by law, this petition is not eligible for further processing. At this time, the NVC will retain the petition until an immigrant visa becomes available. The NVC will notify the petitioner, principal applicant, or attorney on record when this petition is eligible for further processing, blah, blah, blah. Then at the bottom, you will my name and my son's name, because yes, my petition was filed before they were 21 years, but now they age out, so was just wondering. Yes, Simon, so thank you for the update. So basically, when you, this is a good example. When your petition is approved by USCIS and it is transferred to the NVC, if you still have some time to wait for the availability of that immigrant visa, you will have the access to the portal. Yes, you will be able to log into the portal, but you won't be able to do anything within that portal. You will get this message right here saying that, hey, we're still waiting for the closer to the availability of your immigrant visa. And of course, another issue is right now we are still dealing with I don't know, this is, I honestly, some of these things I cannot believe that we still have them. I mean, they're so common sense, but they're still there. Like aging out. Aging out is absolutely ridiculous. It is not my fault. It is not immigrants' fault. It's not our fault that our children grow up. It's a good thing. I don't know why it's being discouraged by the system, but it is being discouraged, straight up being discouraged by the system, because if you petition, let's say for your 18-year-old daughter, right? And they review this petition for 3.5 years. She becomes over 21, and now she is in the category for children over 21. It's ridiculous. I applied for her when she was 18. Why are we dealing with her being over 21? It's not my fault that these guys in these government agencies take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years in some cases, depending on which one we're talking about, depending on which petition we're talking about. It's not our fault, and yet we're dealing with this. This is crazy, and we can hope that this is going to change, but chances are it probably won't. Just like somebody pointed out earlier in this video, that it's all about money. And this aging out rule, if somebody gets rid of it, nobody financially profits from it. Nobody does. We profit, immigrants profit, of course, not financially. Much more important than financially, way more important than financially. We get our families together. But it's all about profit, it's all about money. This is sad. And I don't mean to end this video on a very sad note, but I also like to be, realistic with this materialistic world, right? I myself went through this for 14 years. It took me to go through this whole immigration process. And as you can see, I'm still dealing with this immigration process because I have family. And it only gets worse. It's been getting worse for the past 14 years as I was dealing with it, and it only keeps getting worse, unfortunately. So be prepared to deal with it when you are participating. Be prepared for long wait times. Be prepared to pay a lot of fees, fill out a lot of applications. That's why it's important to be as basically educated, informed as possible about the process, understand how it works, where it goes. And really, that's one of the reasons why I started this channel. So thank you everyone for tuning in today. If you have any follow-up questions, do not hesitate to ask them. As many questions as you have. Looks like the bird is back to the window. However many questions you have, they're all welcome, because without your questions, these videos would not be possible. So thank you for watching. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.